A good Nesur Chag, everyone. It's wonderful to see everybody. Wonderful to see people back. As I said in my email, if you saw it, we missed you, and we're happy to have you back. Nesur Chag is the way it sounds, to tie the Yom Tov with us. As I said yesterday, during the Nesur Chag, the Reb Shamshon Raphael Hirsch says it doesn't say Ma'adei Simcha and Chagei Sasan. It says Ma'adim L'Simcha, Chagim Uzmanim L'Sasan. We're supposed to take the Yom Tov with us to generate Simcha further and to generate Sasan till the next time we have a Moyed and a Vad to get together with the Rabbeinu Shalom. Last night when we were learning Tu Blat, last night after Yom Tov, I said that there's a minig after Yom Kippur to start the Sukkah, to go Mechayil El Chayil. There's no question then after Yom Tov to learn Torah, after Kabbalah Torah to learn Torah, is definitely Mechayil El Chayil. It's wonderful to learn with you as we are in the beginning of Masechtas Yoma. Interesting, I don't know how it happened, but yesterday we learned ahead one day. I know because I put it up on Torah Anytime and on Kol Halashin, and I got a whole slew of phone calls late in the night. Why did you learn tomorrow's Mishna Yomis? So today's Mishna Yomis was supposed to be the last Mishnah of the first parak and the first Mishnah of the second parak. So we're going to go back. I don't know how that happened. Does anybody know how it happened? I was learning every day. I don't know how it happened. That must have something to do that Baruch Ian wasn't here. So anyway, we're going to learn Mishnah Vav and Mishnah Zayin now. That was yesterday's that I didn't record. Again, I have no clue how that happened. So we learn the Ili Nishmas, Basi Bas Robert, Shlomo ben Avram Alevi, Perel Bas Ruvain. We learn Ili Nishmas, Levi Yitzhak ben Meir, Yaakov Moshe ben Zev, Fu Shalem Rafael, Yoma Moshe ben Chayesara, and sponsored by Yod Klugman and family. So we were saying that the Kohen Gadol has to stay up the whole night because we don't want him to fall asleep and maybe then see Zera and then he would be disqualified. So Ima Yachacham, if he was wise, Dairish. Normally, the regular Kohen Gadol was the holiest of his brethren, and he of course knew how to darshan. However, during the time of the Bayesheni, they sold the office to the highest bidder, and then there were Amaratzim. So the Imlav, if he didn't know, then Talmidei Chachamim Dorshim Lefanov, the Talmidei Chacham would say things before him. V'imraga likrais, if he was able to read kairei, and he reads. V'imlav, if not, karin lefanov, they would read before him. Obameh karin lefanov, what would they read? Be'iev, they would read Eev, which is full of philosophical questions, and it's interesting. Be'ezra, which talks about how they struggled by the Bayesheni. Ubedivrei Yomim and the Chronicles, which also has very interesting stories. Zechariah ben Kavutalayma, Pa'amim Harbe Karisi Lefonav B'Daniel. Many times I read before him in Daniel, which also is in Aramaic, and therefore in the vernacular. That's what the Kahati brings down from Rav Unterman. And it also has interesting stories in Daniel. Mishnah Zayin tells us, Bikesh Lisnamnein, if he started to doze, Pirchei Kahuna, young Kahan, Makim Lefonav Be'etzbat Tzrada. They would snap their finger in front of him. Some say it's the finger closest to the thumb, and others say it's the middle finger, which of course makes the louder noise. And they say to him, Ishi Kohen Gadol, O Sir Kohen Gadol, I might stand up, v'hafeg achas ala ritzba, and cool yourself off on the cold marble floor. The floor was clay sharis, and they would do the avodah barefoot because it was a clay sharis. That's one of the reasons why they had the lishkis Beis Hamoikid, where there was a fire and they warmed themselves up. Umasikin Isai, and they kept him busy. They would sing in front of him until the time of the Shchita's Tamid came, and according to the Pashtas, he also did the Trumas Hadeshin at midnight, as we say later on, although they want to be medayik, that some people hold that since it says until the time of the Zman HaShchita that the Kohen Gadol doesn't have to do the Trumas Hadeshin, another Kohen could do the Trumas Hadeshin. It's not officially part of the Seder Hayom, which has to be done only by the Kohen Gadol. It's interesting that this idea that the floor itself was a clay shares was part of what Achashverosh copied when we hear in the Megillah a very odd thing. Ritzbas bahat v'sheish v'dar v'seichares. That the floor of Achashverosh's palace was studded with all kinds of gems. And that idea was from the fact that everything he did with the Kalim of the Beis HaMikdash, and he tried to copy the Beis HaMikdash, and Shlomo HaMelech's throne he had a copy of, and therefore he had this gem-studded floor, which is not something that you usually see. Before I finish, I just want to mention, right before Mincha, I received a call to speak tomorrow at the clubhouse for the Memorial Day ceremony. You know this person is Grotzkin. You know who he is? So he called me up. So I said yes, although I'm going to have to figure out now what to talk about. But it's Hashem. It'll be a Kiddush Hashem. That's all. What? The Golem. Yeah. You know, I have certain ideas what I could say with a Jewish spin, but they also said it would be nice if some people show up. You know, I'm not telling you to miss a Seder. You know, 10 o'clock. So he said, you know, it would be nice if there would be a Jewish representation. So if you're not doing anything special, maybe it's a good idea to pop in. He said that the whole thing is 45 minutes. He doesn't know I'm speaking here. Once I'm speaking, that changes everything. But nobody clued him in on that. But anyway, and it could be it could be one of your wives coming also. You know, it doesn't have to be. Again, I don't recommend you to miss a Seder, but if you're not doing anything special, it probably is a good idea to show up. We can make a little bit of a Kiddush Hashem. Tonight we have the Daf after Ma'ariv, and then and you don't have to count Sfira tonight. And after the Daf, we're going to have a Chok. So a full schedule tonight here. In my email, I see some people already put in checks. It's just a reminder that we made a shul appeal by Yisker for Bikur Chaylim. Thank you to all those that gave pre-pledges. Please give it out to me. I want to send out soon the first mailing to Bikur Chaylim of Lakewood. And also there's an envelope there if you bought aliyahs or you made any pledges to the shul to please give as well. Rav Chananya ben Akasha Amaratza Kadosh Baruch Hu L'Zakos Yisrael L'Fika Chir B'Lehem Torah Mitzvahs Shenem Adonai Chafetz U'man Tzidka Yaglul Torah V'Yadeh.
Yisparach v'yishtabach v'yisparach v'yishabach v'yisnasei v'yisadar v'yisalev v'yisalav shemen v'kusha b'rifro v'elam in kavr chazav v'shirazav dush b'chazav v'nakamasa adam ram Yoma b'imram ha'yisrael v'yaram v'nam v'yal tamidayam v'yakal tamidayam v'yakal mandiyas v'yaraisa V'yivasra David v'chal asar basar. Yehel lahenu l'chaim shalom rabbi kedav v'chistav v'rachamim. V'chayim v'chilim zayin v'ravichai. Over kadam v'kadam v'vod v'mishma v'arav v'imro amen. Shalom rabbi min shemai v'chaim aleinu v'chal Yisrael v'imro amen. V'yisach shalom v'imro v'yasach shalom aleinu v'chal Yisrael v'imro amen.
What time's the daf?
The daf is 8:45. Rabbi say one other thing. We are working on getting a path outside the door. Somebody fell yesterday and hurt themselves a little bit. So we need to make a renewed effort to get that path. But we need it. It would have been up already. So we need to get it approved. Maybe a message should be given that somebody already fell. But also the path will probably cost about $2,000. So anybody who wants to be part of it, please let me know.